you that spending $1 million on the absolute latest artificial intelligence tools might guarantee you exactly zero competitive advantage.
I mean, that is a terrifying thought for a lot of executives right now.
Right, because there's this feeling lately, and maybe you listening have felt this too, where it just seems like you're running on this endless technology treadmill.
Oh, the treadmill is real. It's exhausting.
Yeah, every single day there is like a new tool, a new update, some new way to supposedly optimize your workflow.
And people just panic by them.
Exactly. You start adopting these tools just to keep your head above water. You're using them as, I don't know, little digital assistants to write your emails faster or summarize meetings.
Which is fine, but
But here's the thing. If you're just using it to save time, you might actually be losing the bigger game.
you definitely are.
Yeah.
Viewing a technology that is honestly fundamentally restructuring how entire economies operate merely as a personal time saver.
Yeah.
That's a dangerously narrow perspective.
Yep.
When an organization gets stuck on that treadmill, scrambling to keep up with daily updates, they completely miss the actual horizon.
And pulling you off that treadmill is our mission today. We're taking a deep dive into this incredibly compelling article from April 2026 by J.D. Parashar.
Yes, a fantastic piece.
He's the founder and director of Rethynk AI, and the article is titled How Visionary Leaders Use AI to Shape Markets.
It really reframes the whole conversation.
It does. And we're also going to look at the professional discussion this sparked in the comments section, plus pull in some vital context from his other recent writings.
Because the goal today is to help you, the listener, shift your mindset.
Right. We want to move you away from using AI as just a digital assistant and toward understanding how to use it as a foundational tool that completely rewrites the rules of your industry.
It's a huge pivot.
Okay, let's unpack this. Parashar starts by diagnosing what he calls the core problem. It's a trap that most organizations are falling into right now.
Yeah, he characterizes it as purely reactive adoption.
Reactive, right.
Organizations look around, they see their competitors adopt some popular new tool, and they just panic.
FOMO, basically.
Exactly, corporate FOMO. The natural instinct is to just buy the exact same software so you aren't left behind. They experiment, sure, but there's no real long-term direction behind it.
They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Pretty much. They use AI strictly to automate existing processes, optimize their current operations, and just enhance their baseline productivity.
Which leads to what Parashar brilliantly calls the parity trap.
The parity trap, yeah.
It reminds me of this scenario. Imagine an entire Olympic track team, right? And every single runner goes out and buys the exact same brand of cutting-edge, high-tech running shoes.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
You don't win the race just because you bought the shoes, because the person in the lane next to you has the exact same shoes.
Exactly.
If everyone uses the technology in the exact same way to run the exact same race, you don't get an advantage, you just get parity.
Nobody stands out.
Right. In fact, Parashar recently published another piece warning about this exact dynamic, titled AI Without Strategy is Just Expensive Automation.
And that word expensive in the title carries a lot of weight.
Oh, for sure.
Pouring capital into a technology just to maintain the status quo, well, it drains resources without creating any new avenues for growth. You're essentially paying a massive premium just to tread water.
But let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
Isn't efficiency inherently a good thing? I mean, optimizing operations, cutting costs, making things run smoother, that is historically how businesses survive economic downturns and, please their shareholders.
Sure.
So why is Parashar knocking productivity?
What's fascinating here is that Parashar isn't saying efficiency is inherently bad.
Okay.
He's saying efficiency is merely the baseline for survival now. It's table stakes.
Just to stay in the game.
Right. If an organization stops at efficiency, they are missing the transformational value of the technology entirely.
I see.
There was this phenomenal comment on Parashar's article from a professional named Fahim Mashour that perfectly captured the mechanics of this.
Oh, yeah, I read that one.
Fahim noted that viewing AI as a cost cutter versus viewing it as a market shaper requires, quote, completely different ROI conversations.
A different return on investment conversation.
Exactly.
Because if the ROI calculation is simply, we saved our accounting team 20 hours a week.
Well, the competitor down the street just bought the exact same tool and saved their accounting team 20 hours a week too.
Right, so the net gain in market dominance is literally zero.
If the entire organizational strategy is cost-cutting, that's just a race to the bottom. Efficiency keeps the lights on, but it doesn't dictate where the market goes next.
It assumes the boundaries of the industry are totally static and just tries to navigate them a tiny bit faster.
Which brings us to the alternative Parashar presents, the visionary mindset.
Right. This is the strategic shift from using AI to compete within the existing parameters of your industry to using it to proactively shape how those parameters evolve.
He outlines a cascading series of effects where AI fundamentally alters the landscape. And it begins with the complete redefinition of customer expectations.
Redefining expectations. How does that happen mechanically?
Well, it happens through hyper-personalization at a scale that was previously impossible.
Like Netflix recommendations.
Far beyond that. It's not just a recommendation algorithm suggesting a product you might like. It's about an AI system anticipating what a customer needs before they even articulate it,
Oh, wow.
and delivering a bespoke interaction instantly. When a company does this successfully, they don't just win a single transaction. They literally reset the psychological baseline for what that customer expects from every other company in that industry.
And once that baseline is reset, the old way of doing things feels completely broken to the consumer,
Exactly. Which forces the second effect Parashar talks about.
creating entirely new value propositions.
Right. Once you've given a customer a hyper-personalized anticipatory experience, your old standard product doesn't fit them anymore. You naturally have to change what you're selling.
Notice how that completely shifts the battleground.
It does. A visionary leader is no longer fighting competitors in the existing product categories. They're shifting the competition to entirely new value spaces.
Like through data-driven offerings or entirely new pricing models.
Yes, exactly. Maybe pricing based on usage or actual outcomes rather than just a flat fee. They change the very nature of what is being sold, rendering the competitor's flagship product completely obsolete.
And as soon as you change the nature of what's being sold, you inevitably influence industry standards.
That's the third effect, yeah.
Organizations that lead in this kind of AI deployment end up setting the benchmarks for the entire sector. They define the new best practices.
Regulators even look to these leading companies to figure out how to draft new laws.
Right. Meaning the visionary company gets to influence regulatory conversations simply by being the first to figure it out.
They lead, and everyone else is forced to play catch-up within a framework they didn't even design.
To maintain that lead, the organization has to execute the fourth element Parashar identifies, which is accelerating innovation cycles.
Because AI enables rapid, large-scale experimentation.
Using digital twins, right.
Exactly. Simulating 1 million product variations overnight. Instead of spending 3 years in a physical testing lab, you get instant feedback loops.
Which allows for continuous product evolution.
A company operating this way outpaces competitors not just once with a single lucky product launch, but consistently, over and over again.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's bring back that commenter we mentioned earlier, Fahim Mashur.
Oh, yes. He added a great point here.
He added this brilliant layer to the discussion about how these rapid feedback loops work in practice. He pointed out that organizations playing a completely different game are using AI to spot demand signals way earlier than their competitors.
Or using it to find clients that no one else is even looking at yet.
Yeah. Let's look at the mechanism of how that actually happens.
Well, think about an old school company. They look at last quarter's sales data to predict what they should manufacture next quarter.
It's all backward looking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a company utilizing AI to shape the market. They have systems monitoring global weather patterns, real-time shipping logistics, shifting social media sentiment across multiple languages.
Just a massive amount of data.
And the AI synthesizes all of that and realizes a huge consumer trend is about to pop off 3 weeks before the competitor's traditional quarterly report even prints.
So it's not just about doing the old things faster. It's about finding entirely new realities to capitalize on before anyone else knows they exist.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this fundamentally shifts the concept of competitive advantage.
How so?
Historically, competitive advantage came from tangible, static assets. It was your physical supply chain, your real estate footprint, or your 100-year-old brand history.
The traditional moats.
Right. But Parashar argues, in another one of his recent pieces, that competitive advantage has fundamentally transitioned to become, quote, algorithmic.
Algorithmic competitive advantage. I mean, I hear a phrase like that, and I immediately think, great, whoever spends the most millions on the biggest server farm wins.
That's a common reaction.
It just sounds like nothing more than a raw computing power arms race.
But that is the exact parity trap Parashar is warning against. Algorithmic advantage is not about raw compute power. or simply buying the most expensive off-the-shelf software.
Okay, then what is it?
It means the unique intelligence and learning loops embedded in your specific systems are what differentiate you. As your AI interacts with your specific customers and your specific supply chain, it gets smarter about your unique business every single day.
Oh, so it compounds.
Exactly. A static piece of software degrades in value over time, but algorithmic advantage compounds. It actually changes the definition of what better means in your market.
Okay, let's pause here. If shaping the market is this powerful and the compounding nature of it clearly makes it the ultimate goal, why isn't every single company doing it?
That is the million-dollar question.
The technology is generally available. Any major organization can license the foundational models. Why do so many fail to make the strategic shift from reactive automation to proactive market shaping?
Well, Parashar points out several major roadblocks that create immense friction.
What's the first one?
The first is that short-term focus on cost and efficiency we analyzed earlier. If leadership is only looking at the next quarterly earnings report, they'll only approve AI projects that immediately cut overhead.
Completely blinding them to the larger potential of redefining their value proposition.
Precisely. Then you have the issue of fragmented AI initiatives.
Oh, like when different departments just go rogue.
Exactly. Marketing finds an AI tool to write ad copy. HR buys a completely different AI platform to screen resumes, but there's no cohesive connective tissue.
Just an absolute absence of clear strategic intent from the top down.
Which brings Parashar to what he considers the critical failing point, a severe lack of leadership AI literacy.
Okay, I have to challenge this concept of literacy.
Go ahead.
Does a CEO or a senior department leader really need to know how the neural network's code operates? Do they need to spend their weekends learning to be a data scientist just to run a modern company?
No. It is absolutely not about knowing how to code. That is the most common misconception holding leaders back.
Okay, good, because that sounds exhausting.
Parashar's firm, Rethynk AI, actually has a specific consulting focus designed around this exact misunderstanding. They call their approach leadership, AI literacy, and decision architecture.
Decision architecture.
Right. The literacy they're talking about is understanding how to tie these powerful predictive tools to a long-term strategic vision.
Decision architecture. I really love that framing. Having AI tools scattered around your marketing and HR departments is like having a bicep that doesn't talk to the brain.
That's a great way to put it.
Decision architecture is building the central nervous system. The CEO doesn't need to know how the individual neurons fire, they don't need to write the code, but they absolutely must design how the brain talks to the hands.
That is a perfect analogy. If a leader lacks the literacy to build that central nervous system, they naturally default to authorizing isolated, fragmented initiatives.
They tell marketing to go buy an AI tool to optimize their existing ad spend.
But without the high-level decision architecture designing how that intelligence flows through the entire company, those initiatives remain purely operational. They do not transform the business.
So if you don't build the nervous system, you fail to integrate AI across your core business functions. You end up with smart silos in a dumb company.
And a disconnected company cannot shape a market.
All right, so we understand the goal, market shaping, and we understand the organizational roadblocks preventing it.
Now for the how.
Yes, let's get into the actionable blueprint. Parashar provides a practical leadership framework for making this shift, moving away from a rigid checklist and toward an ongoing strategic evolution.
This is a 5-step framework.
And the very first place he tells leaders to look is at redefining expectations by hunting for customer friction.
This is the primary hunting ground for market shaping.
Not just looking for tiny efficiencies.
Right. Leaders shouldn't be looking at what's working well and trying to make it 2% faster. They need to actively seek out the massive pain points that everyone in their industry has just accepted as an unavoidable reality of doing business.
Think about the mortgage industry. The universally accepted friction is the agonizing 30-day waiting period for manual underwriting.
Right. Everyone just accepts it.
An efficiency mindset uses AI to read the PDFs a little faster to make it a 25-day wait.
Which is nice, but
a market-shaping mindset uses AI to analyze the borrower's entire financial history, asset portfolio, and real-time market risk, and underwrites the loan instantly while the buyer is still standing in the open house.
you find the friction and you obliterate it.
Exactly. Once you find that target, the next phase is aligning the AI capability with your long-term strategic vision.
The AI deployment must serve the ultimate future positioning of the company. It cannot be dictated by whatever generative AI trend is currently going viral on social media.
So no chasing shiny objects.
No. If the company's long-term vision is to be the most trusted, secure logistics provider, the AI strategy shouldn't be focused on generating quirky marketing images,
It should be entirely focused on predictive routing and threat detection.
which naturally requires the next phase, integrating AI across core business functions.
As we just established with the nervous system analogy, isolated intelligence dies on the vine. It requires deep cross-functional alignment.
Let's follow the mechanics of that. You cannot have a brilliant, highly responsive, AI-driven customer interface taking complex custom orders on the front end.
If it feeds into a slow, manual, paper-based fulfillment process in the warehouse on the back
The
end,
entire system breaks down. The intelligence has to flow seamlessly from the moment the customer interacts with the chatbot straight down to the robotic assembly line on the factory floor.
to make that massive interconnected system function in the real world, Parashar highlights a crucial fourth operational phase, building governance and trust into the AI systems.
This is non-negotiable.
Market leaders must ensure transparency, prioritize fairness in their algorithms, and maintain strict accountability for the AI's output.
And finally, the fifth step. The organization must adopt a posture of continuous learning and adaptation.
Because the AI is constantly ingesting new data, the company's strategies must evolve faster than the competitors.
The speed of learning itself becomes the ultimate strategic advantage.
So what does this all mean? Let's translate this for you, the listener.
Yeah, how to apply it.
Whether you're leading a massive global enterprise or you're just trying to improve your own small team's workflow, finding that initial customer friction is something you can start doing this afternoon.
Very true.
Look at your daily operations and ask, where is the bottleneck that my entire industry has surrendered to?
This raises an important question, particularly regarding the governance and trust phase of that framework.
Okay, let's hear it.
It is very easy for a corporate leader to read words like transparency, fairness, and accountability, and immediately dismiss them as soft PR buzzwords.
Oh yeah, like something for the legal department to worry about.
Exactly. But Parashar published another article just days prior to this main piece, titled, "Your Brand is Already Being Judged by Its AI Maturity."
AI maturity as a metric for brand valuation, that is a heavy concept.
It completely reframes why governance is mandatory. Trust is not a public relations exercise.
Right.
Look at the mechanics of deployment. If an AI system denies a customer a loan or rejects an applicant's resume, and the company cannot transparently explain why, because the algorithm is a black box.
The regulators will penalize them and the public will completely abandon them.
As Parashar notes, trust is the only mechanism that actually, quote, enables adoption at scale.
That makes total sense.
If your customers or your internal employees do not trust the fairness or the transparency of your AI architecture, they will simply refuse to interact with it.
And without scale and adoption, your entire market-shaping strategy instantly collapses.
It's a massive paradigm shift in how organizations need to think about brand equity.
Your brand value is no longer just your logo, your historic reputation, or your customer service team. Your brand equity is now inextricably tied to the maturity, safety, and explainability of your underlying algorithms.
Absolutely.
So, to synthesize everything we've explored today, the future economy will not be led by those who merely adopt artificial intelligence to trim their operational budgets or to follow the latest software trend.
Definitely not.
The future belongs to the visionary leaders who build the decision architecture necessary to rewrite the rules of the game itself.
They're the ones shifting away from the parity trap of reactive adoption.
And moving toward the proactive, algorithmic design of entirely new market dynamics.
They are the leaders, looking at their operational dashboards and asking the critical question: are we using this intelligence simply to compete in the race as it exists, or are we using it to redefine what the race actually is?
Which leaves us with a truly profound and frankly somewhat chilling thought to end on today.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Throughout this deep dive, we have been talking entirely about corporate markets, business strategies, retail friction, and industry standards.
Right. Mostly business applications.
But Parashar is an author who analyzes the intersection of strategy and massive, complex systems. If you look at the broader context of his other recent writings, there is a piece titled "The Illusion of the Bypass Canal: Geopolitical Realities and Engineering Limits in the 2026 Strait of Hormuz Crisis."
Wow. Okay. That is quite a jump from corporate strategy.
It is. This article deals explicitly with the context of the ongoing Iran war and Operation Epic Fury.
It demonstrates that the strategic frameworks he's developing are being applied to global geopolitical scales, not just corporate boardrooms.
Exactly. And that prompts a massive question for you to mull over as we wrap up.
A big one.
If visionary corporate leaders are currently using AI to entirely reshape individual markets, predict demand signals, and redefine competitive advantage today, how long until this concept of AI maturity becomes a matter of literal geopolitical survival?
That is a staggering thought.
If artificial intelligence is currently rewriting the rules of global business, how soon will these exact same predictive algorithmic frameworks be used to proactively reshape global geopolitical landscapes during international crises like the one in the Strait of Hormuz?
When the stakes of the game shift from maximizing corporate profit margins to maintaining global stability and national security, the cost of being stuck on that reactive parity trap treadmill becomes unimaginably high.
It really does. If you are still just looking around trying to figure out if your organization is wearing the same high-tech running shoes as everyone else, you might not even realize that the race itself has fundamentally changed.
Well said.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Parishar's work and the vital discussions it has sparked. Keep questioning the information around you, and we'll catch you next time.